Paul Walker here, 80 years young, my dear friend. I know, you're thinking, Paul, 80? Isn't that ancient? But let me tell you, life after 80 is an adventure, full of stories, laughter, tears, and wisdom you can't find in any book. I want to share my experiences with you, the truths about aging, loneliness, and life after 8 decades in a way that's raw, emotional, and yes, sometimes downright hilarious. Every morning, life reminds you that your body has changed. Muscles that used to respond like well-trained soldiers now need gentle coaxing. Knees have their own opinions. Hips groan as if they've been carrying a secret grudge. And energy levels have gone on permanent vacation. And yet, despite all that, the mind can still be a spark, curious, playful, and sometimes mischievous. Loneliness is the first truth I want to share. Oh, loneliness, that silent visitor. It creeps in quietly, like a cat tiptoeing across the floor at midnight. I remember last winter, sitting by my fireplace talking to Mr. Whiskers, my judgmental cat, about the state of the world. I laughed, yet inside the silence gnawed at me. Friends have passed away, family gets busy, and suddenly your home, once full of chatter, feels like a cavern echoing only your voice. But here's the thing. Those quiet moments are also opportunities for reflection, for storytelling, for remembering the lives we've lived. I remember one evening sipping my tea, looking out the window as snow fell. The world seemed so still, and I realized that these moments, though lonely, also carried beauty. I began recounting memories aloud, funny, sad, absurd moments alike. It was my way of keeping connection alive, even if it was only with me and Mr. Whiskers. Over time, I found laughter could fill those quiet spaces as effectively as conversation with friends. Then there's health. Health, an unpredictable companion. Your body, which once obeyed commands effortlessly, now has its own mind. Knees creak as if they're complaining, hips grumble like an old engine. I once tried a gentle jog and ended up performing a sort of unplanned yoga routine that I've affectionately dubbed the flailing flamingo. Even Mr. Whiskers gave me that side eye, like, really, Paul? But the lesson is simple. Keep moving, however awkwardly, however slowly. Movement is medicine, even if it's sprinkled with comedy. Memory, another mysterious companion, loves to play tricks. The one minute I remember the punchline to a joke from decades ago, the next I can't recall where I placed my glasses while wearing them on my head. These little lapses can be frustrating, but they're also hilarious. I often turn my forgetfulness into stories I share, and let me tell you, people love a senior who can laugh at misplacing their keys for the 5th time in an hour. Energy levels are another tale entirely. I used to run, well, not marathons, but I was sprightly. Now walking to the mailbox feels like scaling Everest. And yet, while physical energy fades, wisdom grows. I savor each moment more deliberately. The warmth of morning coffee, the beauty of a sunrise, and the simple pleasure of chatting with a friend over the phone. Independence is something that comes with a delicate balancing act. I want to do things for myself to prove I'm still capable, yet reality sometimes insists otherwise. I recall the time I stubbornly tried to fix a leaking faucet alone and ended up flooding half the kitchen. Mr. Whiskers' stare that day still haunts me, a judgmental, unblinking reminder that accepting help is not weakness, but wisdom. By midlife, or perhaps later, we confront mortality more often. But strangely, acknowledging it doesn't bring despair, it brings clarity. It makes every hug, every shared laugh, every phone call infinitely precious. Each sunrise becomes a gift, every song heard on the radio a treasure, and even the smallest moments feel monumental. Humor, my dear friend, is the glue that keeps the soul together. Just last week, I tried online dating again. Yes, at 80. I matched with a wonderful lady and in my excitement, accidentally sent a selfie with a sock in my mouth. Rather than embarrassment, we shared laughter. Life is far too short not to revel in these silly, spontaneous moments. Keeping the mind sharp is vital. I try new hobbies, read books, solve puzzles, and even wrestle with technology. My neighbor at 82 recently started painting. His first canvas looked like a rainbow exploded, but the laughter we shared while he painted was priceless. Curiosity and learning, my friend, do not retire. Sometimes I sit and reflect on all that is past, the decades of joys, of heartbreaks, of victories and mistakes. They all come together like the pieces of a mosaic. Aging may take the vigor, but it gives perspective, depth, and often a wider sense of humor. There are times when loneliness can feel crushing, yet I've found ways to turn it into connection. Volunteering, phone calls, writing letters, these small acts bridge the gaps. Sharing stories, even with strangers or pets, fills a room with warmth. In some ways, laughter and storytelling become antidotes to the isolation that comes with age. Physical limitations continue to remind me of my age. Climbing stairs, bending to pick up something heavy, standing for long periods, they all require consideration now. But adaptability is key. I've discovered creative solutions, small routines, and modifications that allow me to maintain independence and dignity. Social connections remain essential. Maintaining friendships, nurturing family ties, and seeking companionship, these things matter more than ever. A simple conversation over tea can brighten days that otherwise might feel dreary. Humor, shared memories, and mutual understanding create bonds that withstand the years. Emotional resilience grows stronger with age. I've faced loss, disappointment, and challenges, but each experience has strengthened my capacity for empathy, patience, and love. I laugh more readily, cry when needed, and embrace each moment with authenticity.
Sometimes I revisit old letters, photographs, and keepsakes. Each one is a portal to the past, reminding me of lessons learned, adventures taken, and love shared. Memory may falter, but the essence of experiences remains, often clearer than in youth. I've learned that the simplest pleasures hold profound meaning. A warm blanket, a favorite song, a quiet afternoon reading, all are treasures. Appreciating these moments requires mindfulness, something that comes naturally with age and reflection. Self-care becomes more intentional. Proper rest, nutrition, and gentle exercise are non-negotiable. I've also learned the value of mental rest, meditation, reflection, and simply sitting quietly to observe the world around me. Sometimes I recount stories of my youth to younger friends. They listen, laugh, and sometimes share their own experiences. This intergenerational exchange is enriching. Life after 80 can be vibrant, filled with lessons, laughter, and a unique perspective that only decades can provide. I continue to challenge myself intellectually. I take up new hobbies, explore unfamiliar topics, and occasionally wrestle with new technology. Each attempt, successful or not, keeps the mind active and fosters a sense of accomplishment. Community involvement is rewarding. Volunteering, mentoring, or simply participating in social activities connects me to the wider world. It combats isolation and infuses life with purpose and meaning. I cherish memories, yes, but I also embrace the present. Life after 80 is not merely a reflection on the past, it's living fully in the moment, appreciating the beauty and complexity of each day. Friendship takes on new dimensions. Bonds deepen through shared experiences, mutual support, and a collective understanding of life's impermanence. These relationships are precious, providing laughter, comfort, and perspective. As we age, acceptance becomes a powerful tool. Accepting limitations, accepting assistance, accepting changes in our social circles. All of these foster peace and resilience. Through it all, humor remains indispensable. Laughing at ourselves, finding joy in the absurdities of life, and embracing the unexpected turns keep the spirit light and engaged. At this stage, gratitude is transformative. Appreciating simple acts of kindness, the warmth of the sun, the sound of birds, or a friendly conversation enriches life immeasurably. Middle engagement moment. If you've been enjoying this journey with me, I encourage you to like this video, share your own stories in the comments, and subscribe for more reflections and tales from someone who's walked 80 decades and counting. Even with all its challenges, life after 80 offers profound insights. The experience of decades, the clarity of reflection, and the ability to find humor and beauty in small things create a richness not found in youth. Every wrinkle, gray hair, and scar tells a story. Embracing these marks as symbols of experience and resilience empowers us to live fully, authentically, and joyfully. Life after 80 is a mosaic of memories, experiences, lessons, and laughter. It's not merely survival, it's understanding, appreciating, and savoring each day, each connection, and each story. And so, my dear friend, as I sat by the window watching the snow settle gently over the garden, I realized that life after 80 is a series of small, precious moments. Each one carries its own lesson, its own humor, and its own quiet magic. I remember laughing uncontrollably at myself just the other day, trying to assemble a new shelf. You'd think an 80-year-old would have learned patience, but no, I wrestled with screws and planks as if I were battling a mechanical dragon. Mr. Whiskers sat beside me, judging, of course, but I couldn't stop giggling at my own stubbornness. The days can be long, yet paradoxically, they pass faster than I expect. Some mornings I wake up thinking I have all the time in the world, only to glance at the clock and realize half the day has gone while I was sipping my tea, lost in memories. And isn't that just life at this age? Half of it spent remembering, half of it making the most of what remains. Loneliness sneaks in sometimes, even amidst laughter and activity. One evening, I found myself reminiscing about old friends, some who are no longer with us. I talked aloud to Mr. Whiskers, sharing stories, recalling adventures, and yes, occasionally shedding a tear or two. But that's okay. Tears are proof of a heart that has loved deeply, lived fully, and cared profoundly. There are mornings when I stretch my legs, shuffling along the path in the garden, feeling the crisp air and marveling at how even the simplest things can bring joy. A bird hopping along the fence, the scent of fresh bread from a nearby bakery, the warmth of the sun on my face. They're small, almost trivial things that at this age feel monumental. Friendship remains a vital anchor. I called Mary, my neighbor, the other day, and we laughed over a cup of coffee about the absurdities of getting older. She told me about her own minor mishaps, and I shared mine,
How I once tried to install a new curtain rod and ended up tangled in the ladder like some sort of circus act. Laughing together, sharing stories, these moments stitch life together in ways nothing else can. The truth is, my dear friend, that aging isn't just about what we lose. It's about discovering what endures. Humor, curiosity, love, reflection, and resilience. They're the companions that stick with us when the rest fades. And if you let them, they make the journey not just bearable, but genuinely beautiful. I've found that embracing mistakes with laughter is essential. Just last week, I attempted to bake a cake for my grandkids. What emerged from the oven was less cake and more a charred monument to hubris. Yet when they tasted it, they laughed, and so did I. And in that laughter, the lesson crystallized. Perfection is overrated. Joy is paramount. Even in moments of solitude, I remind myself of the richness of my experiences. I remember summers spent fishing by the lake, winters spent reading by the fireplace, friends gathered around dinner tables telling stories, the smell of coffee in the mornings, the taste of chocolate on lazy afternoons. These are not just memories, they are lifelines connecting me to a life fully lived. And yes, the body creaks and complains, but the mind, oh, the mind, it remembers, it imagines, it laughs, and it creates. I still puzzle over crosswords, I still write letters to friends, and sometimes I even dance alone in the kitchen to a favorite tune, flailing more than moving gracefully. And why not? Life is too short to worry about appearances. Sometimes I talk about the past, not out of nostalgia alone, but to make sense of the present. I tell stories of my youth, my mistakes, my triumphs, and my blunders. And in these tales, humor is never far away. Who else, after all, would find themselves locked out of their own house in pajamas, waving at the neighbors through the window and laughing until tears streamed down their face? Solitude, while challenging, has its silver linings. I've learned to find joy in my own company, to entertain myself with stories, thoughts, and little experiments. Mr. Whiskers is a patient audience, though admittedly he offers little critique besides a raised eyebrow. But laughter, even alone, is medicine. As the afternoon sun casts long shadows across my living room, I reflect on the inevitable truths of aging. Time moves differently, priorities shift, bodies weaken, but hearts can still expand, minds can still grow, and laughter can still echo through the rooms of our lives. Every day is an opportunity to connect, to reflect, and to find delight in the mundane. Life after 80, my dear friend, is not for the faint of heart, but for those willing to embrace it fully, with all its imperfections, humor, tears, and lessons. And so I sit, sipping my tea, telling my stories, laughing at my blunders, remembering my friends, and embracing the quiet magic of each passing moment. And as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, I remind myself, and now you, that every day, every laugh, every memory, and every connection is a treasure. Life may be slower, lonelier at times, and riddled with challenges, but it is undeniably rich, undeniably human, and undeniably worth every moment of our attention and love.